Hi everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of your darling program, Sports and the Geopolitical Economy on Armorgate Radio Communications. I'm your regular anchor, Abiodun Abari, and it's a pleasure being here for you. Trust me, today promises to be another profitable and efficient use of your time as I unpack what is in store. Now let's get to it. The Summer Paralympics got underway in Paris on the 28th of August and will be ending on Sunday, 8th of September 2024, with over 4,000 special athletes participating from countries around the world in 549 medal events in 22 sports, and dominating the conversation at some of Paris' iconic and historic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower, the Grand Palais, and of course the Chateau de Versailles. And as at now, the Nigerian contingent, unlike in the conventional Olympic in the summer, has a bronze medal already, like I expected, courtesy Miriam Eniola Bolaji in the para badminton event, and this is historic, yes, being Africa's first medal in para badminton in Paralympics history. Yeah, congratulations Team Nigeria, and we wish all Nigerian athletes and all other athletes the very best. China leads the pack with 53 gold medals, 40 silver medals, and 22 bronze medals, making a total of 115 medals as at this broadcast. Team Great Britain coming second with 30 gold medals, 18 silver medals, and 13 bronze medals. A total of 61 medals, and Team USA 20 gold medals, 22 silver, and 11 bronze medals, a total of 53 medals. And the ineptitude, the incompetence, and unseriousness of the Nigeria Football Federation has again been brought to the fore with the flip-flop on the announcement of Bruno Labbadia as the chief coach of the male senior national team, the football team, the Super Eagles. Yes, the announcement of 58-year-old Mr. Labbadia was made on the 27th of August, and the football body followed up by releasing the squad list of 23 players for the upcoming African Cup of Nations, that's AFCON, qualification fixtures against Benin Republic and Rwanda. But by 30th of August, the grapevine was awash with stories that the German tactician was dissociating himself from that appointment, and these rumors became confirmed with the NFF issuing a press statement that the reversal was as a result of unaddressed tax issues. There has, however, been reported that three key issues were responsible for the agreement falling through. And first, we have the issue of the duration of the contract, which the NFF allegedly proposed 10 months, and the German felt that it was too short a time. Recall that the NFF did not disclose the length of the contract, so when the announcement of the appointment was made on the 27th of August. And although reports also indicated a clause for an extension if he led, that's Bruno Labbadia, if he led the Super Eagles of Nigeria to the semi-finals of the next African Cup of Nations. And I think that these terms are not in sync with the expectations of the former Bayern Leverkusen manager. And really the bar of the semi-final at the AFCON is usually set for any coach of the Super Eagles in recent times, right? And second, the issue of the pay structure of the assistant coaches Bruno Labbadia was expected to bring to the Nigerian national team. That's a first assistant coach, a match analyst, and a physical trainer. The NFF has in recent times preferred to pay assistants on a per game basis, okay? And as was proposed to Daniel Amokachi, I remember when he was actually asked to assist then chief coach Finidi George. And you remember that Danama Wakachi definitely rejected the terms and did not take up the appointment. So, according to reports, this did not sit well with Mr. Labadia. Okay, maybe he felt that his assistants will not be motivated enough with that kind of pay structure, and which will ultimately affect their performance and their inputs into actualizing his own objectives for the team. And third was the issue of the work location. The German, as I heard, preferred working from his native Germany, monitoring and meeting players abroad and then coming into Nigeria to prepare for games so as necessary. All right, but the NFF wanted him to stay in Nigeria to work. And again, for these issues not having been sorted out, and the NFF making such an announcement smacks of sheer incompetence, and it's a bit shameful, I must confess, to say the least. The NFF, and by extension the Nigerian government and Nigeria as a people, are yet to come to grasp with the role of sports in general and football in particular in advancing and actualizing geopolitical and economic objectives. I make bold to say that Nigeria, alongside Brazil and Argentina, are three countries. Yes, the three countries with the highest number of naturally talented footballers in the whole world. Austin J.J. Okocha comes readily to mind as arguably the most creative dribbler in elite football history. But unlike Brazil and Argentina, who all the while have been able to protect their football from any mediocrity or malfunctioning their countries might be experiencing over the years or might have experienced at any point in time, all right? Nigeria and Nigerians have not insulated their God-given football potentials from the so-called Nigerian factor. We need to wake up as a people. We need to wake up as a government. Governments need to see football as a business investment rather than a tool for development. This perspective cannot be overflogged. Okay, this paradigm shift is absolutely necessary. And there is no €1 million player from Nigeria at the moment. Can you imagine? That beats my imagination. But Brazil and Argentina export players worth 30, 40, 50 million euros straight out of South America. And when these Nigerian players get to Europe, they are worth tens of millions of euros within a year. Are you telling me that was when they are worth that, or we are actually losing money? Along the value chain of football? Veritably, yes. Nigeria is losing a lot in this value chain of global football, and a lot has to do with the value placed on the overall quality and image of our football administration and production. All right, and the level of investment in football infrastructure is abysmal, and quite a lot of talents are crowded out at the very base and grassroots through various financial obligations demanded by governments. And the level of awareness among the citizenry, as it concerns the gold mine football represents, is very, very low. I reckon that in Brazil and Argentina, citizens look out for talented players and sign sponsorship deals with them, sponsorship agreements with them, localized deals with them, and this it becomes a win-win situation for all stakeholders. The football talents have their talents harnessed and fulfilled. The investors are satisfied in terms of return on investments. All right, and the government revenue too from taxes, and you have a citizenry that is inspired to even do more. Yes, because it's a society that actually gives birth to these talents and nurtures them. All right. So, but in Nigeria, talents are laid to waste because citizens prefer to put their resources elsewhere, as they are not aware of the investment opportunities in football. And they are not taking advantage of those investment opportunities. Because I believe that every street in Nigeria has at least a talented footballer, male or female. And it is time we began doing it right, to get it right. And I recall that Clemens Westerhoff of Holland, is arguably Nigeria's most successful football coach, as of the male senior national football team. He coached from 1988 to 1994 and helped Nigeria qualify for its maiden World Cup appearance at USA in 94. And Nigeria at the time under his tutelage was the fifth best footballing nation according to FIFA rankings. And that's the highest ranking in history for any African country. Yes, and the team was also voted the most entertaining team at the USA 94 World Cup. In fact, it was during his tenure that the Nigerian male senior national team, football national team appellation was changed from Green Eagles to Super Eagles. Yes, in the build-up to the 1992 Nations Cup in Senegal, where Nigeria won the bronze medal and eventually won gold at the subsequent edition in 1994 in Tunisia. That's Clemens Westerhoff, discovered and nurtured the likes of Austin J.J. Okocha, Finidi George, Sunday Olise, Augustine Eguavoin, and of course the late big boss, as was fondly called, Stephen Keshi, who also won the AFCON as a coach of Nigeria in 2013 in South Africa with a 1-0 victory over Burkina Faso in the final. Yes, a goal scored by Sunday Umba, who was plying his trade in Nigeria at the time. Yes, and not also forgetting legendary late Rashidi Biekini. All right. Well, I think who holds the record for the highest number of goals for the national team. Okay. And recall that Libya was originally designated hosts for the 2013 Nations Cup. But due to the Obama-led NATO's induced turmoil in Libya, South Africa was re-awarded the hosting rights. So, as things stand today, Augustine Eguavoin, who is the head of the technical department, has been appointed as interim head coach of the Super Eagles, marking his fifth stint at the job after being Super Eagles gaffer in 2005, 2010, 2021, and March 2024. And in accepting his new role, he said, and I quote, "When a situation like this arises and you are called upon, you can't refuse. It's a task I've performed before and falls within my responsibilities. The Federation's leadership believes I can help, so I accepted. But let it be known, I did not ask for this. I did not lobby for this. I did not apply for this. It is God's favor." End of quote. Quite a number of observers are, however, critical of this appointment because he previously failed to qualify Nigeria for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and he has previously led Nigeria to a bronze medal at the round of 16 at the 2006 and 2021 AFCON respectively. I make bold to say that aside his allusion to divine intervention, the spontaneity of the appointment was catalyzed by the crass ineptitude of the Nigeria Football Federation. I wish Coach Augustine Eguavoin all the best and hope that he'll be able to move the ball forward for the Super Eagles. He will be assisted by coaches Fidelis Ilechukwu of Enugu Rangers and Daniel Ogumodede of Remo Stars for the two upcoming games, as announced by Ademola Olajire, the Director of Communications of the Nigeria Football Federation. Ilechukwu actually led Enugu Rangers, called the Flying Antelopes, to Nigeria's elite division title last season, and Ogumodede led the Remo Stars to a second place finish. Tomas Zorek, a fitness trainer from Slovenia, Olatunji Barua, a goalkeeper trainer, and Ebo Boritse, Iweja Momemere, a match analyst, completing the team of officials. So, all in all, Nigeria should and must wake up from its slumber and take a cue from the Chinese and the Saudis and other developmental states who are doing what it takes to sit at the table. Okay? Yeah, the Saudis are not contented with being afterthoughts or settling for leftovers of European clubs. All right? I mean, they're not contented with waiting for players at the twilight of their career before making the switch to Saudi, but they're actually prime players in their prime, away from European clubs, and they're ambitiously competing with European clubs in the transfer window, offering tempting financial packages and ambitious footballing projects. Yes, and by the way, the Riyadh season, the Saudi's flagship boxing project, is moving to England on 21st September with the International Boxing Federation (IBF) heavyweight title fight between Daniel Dubois and Nigerian-born Englishman Anthony Joshua, who is attempting to be a three-time heavyweight champion. And record numbers have been achieved in terms of ticket sales, and application has been made for expanding the 94,000 capacity Wembley Stadium venue for the all-British heavyweight clash to 100,000. And we'll be having exciting undercards too, and of course, as usual, promising to be an exciting night. And yes, the geopolitical and economic benefits are there for the Saudis to reap. So recall that the Riyadh season was hosted in the United States in August with the Terence Crawford and Israel Madrimov fight. And in another development in the geopolitical economy, the New Development Bank, NDB, loosely known as the BRICS Bank, has approved the application of Algeria to join. This multilateral lending institution, established in 2015 as an alternative to West-controlled World Bank, provides loans for developmental projects among BRICS member nations in order to win them off the World Bank. Yes, I recall that I've extensively explained the geopolitics behind the establishments and expansion of BRICS as a checkmate to the U.S. As a check and a balance to the U.S. hegemony. So the NDB actually funds projects like seaports, airports, highways, and other road infrastructure and developmental public projects in emerging economies. So the NDB has a process to authorize new members to the bank, and the NDB president, who was the former president of Brazil, Dilma Rousseff, has confirmed the approval of the Algerian application to join the bank. Yeah, the last time the bank expanded was in 2021, accepting Bangladesh, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, and Uruguay into its fold to receive loans and fund developmental endeavors. And in January 2024, India took $500 billion in loans to fund road infrastructure projects across the states of Gujarat. Right, so as it is now, nations have an alternative to the World Bank, and the World Bank has a multilateral lending institution as its influence waning. And as anticipated, there are reports that Turkey has applied to join the BRICS alliance after decades of being denied admission into the European Union. Yes, Ankara has in recent times been in opposition to the European Union and United States foreign policy, especially as it relates to the geopolitical conflicts between Russia and Ukraine, and of course the Middle East, or West Asia, as some would call it. Yes, recall the 2003 incident in Iraq when U.S. troops briefly detained Turkish commandos and transported them while their heads, while their heads were covered in hoods, okay, causing widespread condemnation and outrage in Turkey, and occasioning a strain in the relations between the United States and Turkey. And the attacks by a group of people recently who put a sack on the head of an American soldier allegedly serving on a U.S. warship that arrived at the port of Izmir in Turkey is seen as a retaliation to the 2003 episode. While that was being done, the group shouted, "Yankee, go home! Yankee, go home!" So that incident that happened, this incident that happened a few days ago, is being seen as a retaliation to the 2003 incident. So I'm just trying to let you see that build-up of tension between Turkey and the USA. That's the drifting away of Turkey, despite being a NATO member, away from the US. And the Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has been a vocal critic of Israel's activities in the war in Gaza, and have also launched attacks. Okay, he has also launched attacks on U.S.-backed Kurdish militants in Syria. So, also, the U.S. was unable to persuade Turkey, despite enormous pressure from purchasing X-400 air defense missile systems from Russia, who the United States sees as a geopolitical rival. So, despite the pressure the United States applied on Turkey not to patronize Russia as it concerns the S-400 air defense missile systems, Turkey decided to pursue his own interests and do what was best for it. Okay, so Turkey is now the first ever NATO member to apply to join the BRICS alliance, and Turkey wants to bolster its influence on the geopolitical landscape and expand its trade and interaction beyond traditional Western allies by courting the East alongside. It is important to note that the BRICS alliance seeks to bypass the US dollar and dominate the global financial system and wresting control from the dominant West. Quoting Mr. Erdogan, says, Turkey can become a strong, prosperous, prestigious and effective country if it improves its relations with the East and the West simultaneously. Any other method other than this will not benefit Turkey or will harm it. End of quote. So the action by Ankara in moving towards the East increases the pressure on the West and its control of the global financial system. However, developmental states and emerging economies, especially in the NATO bloc, seeking to toe this line of Turkey must understand that there should be a militarization threshold attained before doing that. All right, this is because the U.S. hegemony has that culture of undermining such opposition or pandering to its competition, to its geopolitical rivals, using overt, covert, subversive strategies, hard and soft power to protect and advance its hegemony. So there should be caution, strategic caution in achieving that. And the decision to admit Turkey and other pending applicants will be taken at the 16th BRICS Summit, scheduled to be held from the 22nd of October to the 24th in the Kazan region of Russia. So, notably, Turkey's interaction with Russia and Ukraine, their intervention is in the conflicts actually is instructive, as a peace deal was almost signed in April 2022, 2 months into the war. But the Ukrainians walked back on the proposed deal after the then British Prime Minister Boris Johnson made an unscheduled visit to Kiev, and that visit gave credence to the statement by the then Israeli Prime Minister. Mr. Naftali, that the Ukrainians told him that Boris Johnson told them not to sign the agreement as the West was not in support of a peace deal and will not offer any guarantees. Boris Johnson has since dismissed those claims as outlandish, but has failed to provide any other justification or counter-narrative for the impromptu visit. And since then, hundreds of thousands of lives have been lost on both sides, and billions of dollars in infrastructure destroyed. And this week, world kickboxing champion Roman Golovatyrik, serving in the Ukrainian armed forces, was killed near Provokovsk. His death, among the death of many other sports persons, highlights the sad realities of these avoidable geopolitical conflicts. We reckon that sports can only thrive in an atmosphere of peace. All right. And sequel to the Ukrainian defense chief visits to the Pentagon, that's Rostem Umerov. Okay, the Pentagon spokesperson, Major General Ryder, insisted that the policy of not allowing Ukraine to use U.S.-supplied military hardware for strikes deep into Russian territory has not changed. And the White House National Security Council spokesperson, John Kirby, a retired naval officer in his own right, said that Washington will keep the conversations with Ukrainians going, but will keep them private. And this made the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Maria Zakharova, raise an eyebrow that Kirby's statement indicated that Ukraine has been given a carte blanche for operations in Russian region. All right. So, quoting now, she said, the administration of Joe Biden is obviously getting ready to make new concessions to Zelensky and gave him a free hand to use virtually any type of American weapons, including for attacks deep into Russian territory. Okay, and these remarks were echoed by the Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who insisted that the West does not want to avoid an escalation. Yes, recall that Russia is the one that it will supply similar equipment to the enemies of the West in retaliation if its warnings on supplying long-range weapons to Ukraine to strike deep into Russian territory is not heeded. And that might mean supplying military hardware to Iran and its proxies, that is the Houthis in Yemen, or the Hamas in Palestine, Hezbollah in Palestine, and Hezbollah in Lebanon, and of course the Shiite militant in Iraq. Okay, so we might actually see an escalation in this geopolitical conflict if actually the U.S. supplies weapons that Ukraine will be able to use to strike deep into Russian territory. Time constraints will not permit me to delve into the Middle East crisis today, which, God willing, I'll be able to analyze the next episode without carrying water for any side in the conflict. All right, and drawing the curtains of today's episode, I would like to wish our own very own Yemi Awoyokun, the friend of the house, and happy and prosperous birth anniversary. Wishing him many more fulfilling returns in good health and longevity. And remember that at Armagate, we are always ready to help and support your organizations to work optimally, creating frameworks and processes for optimization of resources and attainment of goals. You can contact us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram at Armagate. You can call us on +234 810 999 666. You can also visit our website at www.thearmagate.org. Our email is contact@thearmagate.org. Thank you so much for your time, and from my end, it's bye for now.